Hi everyone, in today's episode of Anime Afternoon, I'm going to be talking about the first ever thing that comes to mind. I have written a little list of series I want to talk to you about, and let's start with Black Lagoon. We're going to be covering three different series as per usual, which is the current format of the show. And starting off with Black Lagoon. Black Lagoon is a series about there is this young man from Japan who he's like a businessman, and he gets sent out on like a business trip. I forget how it all starts, but he more or less gets the very short end of the stick and gets mixed up with Chinese pirates. And now we're not talking the yo-ho jibbity type of pirates. No, we're talking about smugglers, modern day smugglers with guns. And he gets mixed up with those times. And he pretty much, the company leaves him for dead in this pretty much lawless area. And he ends up joining this pirate crew because I think they take him hostage or something like that. And he ends up like working for them, becoming one of them, and it's pretty cool. There's some cool action going on, some cool guns, shootings. Characters are pretty cool. Like, it's a cool series that I can recommend. It's got secret agents, it's got the Russian mob, it's got crazy Chinese women, it's got big black dude who's pretty cool, and it's got good action, it's got good characters, the story is pretty cool. It's not that long, it's a regular season, about 25 episodes or so, and it's also followed by a shorter set of OVAs that covers you get to follow a pretty cool character who shows up later in the series. So that's Black Lagoon. I'm listening to music. Speaking of music, another series that's got a pretty cool mixture of music and storytelling is Samurai Champloo. Samurai Champloo is like the perfect mixture of classic samurai ronin type storytelling, is that setting, and hip hop. Actually, it's got a lot of hip hop influences and graffiti and some of the coolest sword wielders, like male sword wielders in anime that I've seen to date. Yeah, actually. You have Mugen, who is the outlaw. He's not even a ronin, he's not a samurai, he's just a pure wild man type. He escaped. They have something that's like a island where they put all their criminals, well, the worst criminals, and there's no laws there, and he's from this place, and he broke out, and I think his only motivation is fighting the strongest opponent, and he's very cool, Mugen. And then we have, I forget his name, the other the pure samurai Ronin guy. It was also pretty cool. He's the more serious of all the characters in that series. The main cast is 3 people, and the one that's actually the main protagonist, I would say, is this young girl who has been working as a type, not barmaid, but something along those lines, like waitress type thing. And one day, a bunch of samurai come in there and tear the place up and starts a row, and Mugen happens to be in there. So she hires him to protect her and the restaurant. And yeah, that following scene is pretty cool. It's a big fight. And then she ends up having both Mugen and this other samurai guy along, like 2 companions, because they both owe her their lives. Ends up, like in the first episode, they both end up owing their lives to her. And in order to repay her, she asked them to help her find a certain person who is only known as the samurai who smells of sunflowers. And they are going to track this man down and end up in a lot of different situations and troubles with bandits and samurai and shogunate. Yeah, the shogunate. I can really recommend it. It's pretty funny. It's got some good jokes, it's got some good action, the characters are, I'd say, well-rounded. Yeah. So that's Samurai Champloo. Also pretty short, it's like 25 episodes, standard. Yeah, let's talk about Girl und Panzer. Girl und Panzer is, you could make similarities between Girl und Panzer with Can Call if you want, because it's the same type of series. There's pretty much no guys ever showing up. Girl und Panzer takes place in a world where different schools are all sort of military affiliated and have there's a sporting event called tanking, which is an all only girls get to do tanking. And tanking is imagine like an arena sport type thing, but with tanks. So they have to outmaneuver the other tank teams. You have like a group of girls in each tank, and they are the captain and the gunner and the driver and the whatnot. And you get to follow her, like the main girl. She was in part of the one of the greatest tanking squads school things, but she quit that one and didn't want to do any more tanking because of an accident thing that happened. So she's transferred schools to a school where they're not doing tanking at all, but they start up the tanking classes tanking team competition thing at her academy as well, and pretty much more or less force her to join. And it's pretty good. The characters are pretty bland. Like, they're just kind of, you got your standard tsundere girl, and you got this standard airheads, and you know. But it's pretty funny. Actually, I think I prefer it somewhat over Can Call. Actually, yeah. And they enter tournaments, and it's fun. They drive tanks. Like, the tanks themselves, like when they're driving the things and the action, it's actually pretty good now that I think about it. It wasn't that long since I watched it, so just popping back into my mind. And yeah, it's got some cool action scenes, and tanks. Come on, guys, they drive tanks. Just and it's pretty cool the way they've done it. Animation quality for all of these series are actually quite good. Nothing that I'd say looked terrible, not at all. Und Panzer is pretty good. Samurai Champloo, also pretty good. I think, personally, I think overall, Black Lagoon looks the best. But it was such a long time since I watched all of these. Like, one was there, and then a few years later, yeah, you know what I mean. Rambling. I think that's enough for this episode. I got a bit of a husky voice today. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite type tank is. Yeah. And don't forget to check out my other videos. There will be a card thing on the screen somewhere. I'm trying those out. They're pretty cool. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye now. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and hit that share button, because that's